Good day, everyone. As future educators, we understand that traditional reading and writing are not just the foundation to truly thrive in the 21st century. Our future students need new literacies, and none is more practically essential than the subject we tackle today: financial literacy. We are not just here to discuss budgeting or saving. We're here to explore the critical thinking skills and knowledge needed to make informed economic decisions, manage debt, build generational wealth, and secure one's future. Over the next hour, we will examine why financial literacy is a core component of this course and discuss effective strategies for integrating this life changing knowledge across all disciplines. Let us do a self check. Okay, so you have to define the following terms based on your understanding. Please provide an answer in a comment section here in YouTube. Upon completion of this chapter, you will be able to define literacy, assess level of personal financial literacy using set of standards and questions. You will characterize financial literacy in the Philippines and of course, start practical steps to develop personal financial literacy. This is the outline of the discussion. Number one, introduction to financial literacy. Number two, benefits of financial literacy. Number three, financial literacy in the Philippines. Number four, developing personal financial literacy. Before we can teach financial literacy, we must first clearly define it. According to Canton 2020, as you see here, financial literacy is the ability to understand and effectively apply various financial skills, including personal management, budgeting, and investing. This is not just theory, it's about practical action. Canton outlines the basic tenets. It means being able to distribute your budget properly, track your spending effectively, pay off debt, and critically have a retirement plan. Throughout this presentation, keep these four actionable components in mind as we discuss how to integrate them into the curriculum. Let's look at the another authoritative definition, this time from the NEFE, or the National Endowment for Financial Education. As cited by Alana and Ignacio in 2019, they define financial literacy as the ability to read, analyze, manage, and communicate about the personal financial conditions that affect material well-being. Notice the inclusion of communicate. This highlights that it's a social skill as much as personal one. Ultimately, the goal of this ability is financial stability. Financial literacy is the key that allows us to achieve that stability through I mean, through proper financial decision making. This encompasses every major area of our financial lives, from budgeting and saving to handling banking, paying off debts, understanding insurance and tax, and planning for a secure retirement. To fully grasp what financial literacy entails, Hastings and colleagues, as cited here, break it down into four critical pillars. It's more than just a general understanding, it is a specific set of knowledge and skills. First, it's about having knowledge of financial products. This means understanding the tools available to you, knowing the difference, for example, between a stock and a bond, or a fixed versus an adjustable rate mortgage. Second one, you need knowledge of financial concepts. These are the big ideas that shape the economy, such as inflation, the power of compounding, the necessity of diversification, and how your credit score fundamentally affects your financial life. The third one, financial literacy requires mathematical skills or numeracy. You must have the ability to calculate interest, understand percentages, and use numbers effectively for sound financial decision making. The fourth one is, And finally, it's about being engaged in certain activities such as financial planning. Literacy is not passive, it requires active engagement. This is the practical application of everything else, making those plans and executing them. Now, let's turn our attention to the national context and look at how the Philippine government officially recognizes the importance of this topic. The government understands that financial literacy is crucial for honing individuals and contributing to the betterment of society. This commitment is formalized through passing of Republic Act 10922, officially known as the Economic and Financial Literacy Act. This is a major legislative step. What this act does is declare the second week of November of every year as Economic and Financial Literacy Week. This national recognition is important because it provides a dedicated time and mandate for educational institutions like ours and government agencies to focus on promoting and integrating financial education. To give you a precise understanding of the law, the following information is lifted directly from Republic Act number 10922. This is the source document for the Economic and Financial Literacy Act that we just discussed. As you can see right here in Section 1, title, the law officially states that this act shall be known as the Economic and Financial Literacy Act. This confirms that official name and establishes the legal foundation of our commitment to financial education across the country. Now we arrive at the core of the law. Section 2, Declaration of Policy. This section explains why the government enacted this law. The policy is to develop national consciousness on economic and financial literacy. The policy has two main components, which you see highlighted. First, it mandates the official observance of the second week of November of every year as Economic and Financial Literacy Week. This is the concrete action taken to raise awareness. Second, and more importantly, it articulates the ultimate goal. The state recognizes that a financially literate populace drives growth because it leads to people who can make meaningful, sound financial decisions, mobilize savings, and contribute ideas on improving economic and financial policies and programs. This is not just about personal wealth, it's about national economic strength. Since the state has declared an economic and financial literacy week, the natural question is who is in charge of coordinating this nationwide effort? Section 3 answers this by naming the participating government agencies. To ensure a meaningful and well coordinated observance of this week, the law mandates that the National Economic and Development Authority, or the NEDA, shall lead the participation of all government agencies and instrumentalities. NEDA is the country's main economic planning body, making it the perfect choice to spearhead the promotion of financial literacy across the entire public sector. Building on the previous slide, this details the extensive mandate of the NEDA. As the lead agency, NEDA is not just a figurehead. It must plan, initiate, execute, and encourage knowledge, expanding activities on economic and financial literacy. This effort is designed to be comprehensive, involving not just central government agencies and instrumentalities, but also local government units or the LGUs, government owned and controlled corporations or the GOCC, and crucially for us, educational institutions. This highlights that financial literacy is a whole of government, whole of society effort, and we, as part of an educational institutions, are specifically named and included in this national mandate. To effectively lead the national observance, NEDA must convene all the relevant government agencies. This is crucial slide because it tells us who has a direct stake in promoting financial literacy. As the lead agency, NEDA will coordinate with the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, naturally as the central bank regulating finance. The Department of Finance or the DOF, which manages the government's fiscal affairs. The Department of Education, and the Commission on Higher Education or the CHED. These are four keys. These are keys for us as they mandate financial education in schools and universities. The National Youth Commission or the NYC and which targets the future workplace, and the government or the DILG, the Department of Interior and Local Government, which ensures participation down to the barangay level through local government units. This final point on the Act emphasizes the collaborative nature of this law. The Act mandates that all heads of government agencies and instrumentalities, this includes all local government units, government owned and controlled corporations, GOCCs, and the specific agencies we just listed are hereby directed to collaborate and cooperate with NEDA as the lead agency. Their role is to actively advocate and implement activities to successfully celebrate the Economic and Financial Literacy Week. This ensures that the message and importance of financial literacy are consistently and actively promoted across every level of government and society. Now we move on to the section most relevant to us educators. Section 4, Economic and Financial Literacy of Students and the Youth. This section directly addresses the educational sector to fulfill the Act's policy of improving the economic and financial literacy of students and the youth. The law specifically mandates the inclusion of financial literacy programs in all public and private elementary and secondary schools under the Department of Education or the DepEd, and in all state university colleges and universities, which of course includes institutions like ours. This is the legal foundation for integrating financial literacy into our curriculum and emphasizing its importance to the next generation of Filipinos. Continuing with Section 4, this part specifies the roles of the various agencies in the implementation. The CHED, TESDA, National Youth Commission, all in coordination with the lead agency, NEDA, are mandated to conduct consciousness raising and knowledge expanding activities. This includes practical, tangible efforts such as setting up financial literature corners in libraries, organizing forums and trainings, and conducting basic economic and financial management classes. Essentially, the law requires our educational and skills development institutions to actively ensure our students don't just graduate with diplomas, but with the practical financial wisdom to manage their lives. The DepEd is also encouraged to assess and revise the high school economics curriculum to make it more age appropriate and ensure that economic and financial education becomes an integral part of formal learning. Finally, we'll look at Section 5, Communication Arm, which addresses how this message is delivered to the public to ensure that economic and financial literacy awareness reaches everyone. The law mandates the government's official communication agencies, the PIA or the Philippine Information Agency, and the Presidential Commission's Development and Strategic Planning Office. These agencies are required to allot airtime for programs and produce and disseminate printed and online materials to raise awareness and enhance financial literacy across the country. This ensures that the efforts we make in the classroom are reinforced by a powerful national information campaign. Moving on to Section 6, Private sector participation broadens the scope beyond government and education. The law recognizes that a truly financially literate nation requires everyone's effort. Therefore, NEDA, in coordination with the Philippine Economic Society, or the PES, and other academic and professional institutions, is mandated to lead and encourage the participation of the private sector and civil society. During the Economic and Financial Literacy Week, the PES specifically will help plan, initiate, and encourage knowledge expanding activities that the private sector and civil society can adopt in their respective offices. This ensures that the message of financial literacy extends beyond government programs and into the very businesses and organizations that drive our economy. Moving on to the standard administrative clauses of the Act, we have Section 7, Separability Clause. This is a common legal protection that ensures if any single part of the law, maybe one section or one phrase, is later found to be invalid or unconstitutional, the rest of the Economic and Financial Literacy Act remains in full force and effect. Essentially, it prevents the entire law from being thrown out because of a flaw in one small part. Next, Section 8, Repealing Clause. This clause confirms that supremacy of this new law. It dictates that in any prior laws, decrees, or regulations that contradict the mandates of the Economic and Financial Literacy Act, especially regarding the observance of the Economic and Financial Literacy Week, are automatically repealed or modified. This ensures there is no confusion or legal inconsistency with previous rules. Finally, we have Section 9, Effectivity. This, this is the section that declares when the law officially becomes active. In the case of this act, it took effect 15 days after this official publication in the official gazette or a national newspaper. This waiting period allows all the mandated government agencies and institutions, like our own, the time to prepare for its implementation. Let us now proceed in Lesson 2, the benefits of financial literacy. We've established the legal and educational mandate for financial literacy, but let's shift now to immediate, tangible benefits for the individual. This is why our students need this knowledge. We begin Section B by looking at the major protective function of financial literacy. At this slide highlights financial literacy is essentially a shield against financial exploitation. It what prevents financial abuses that can victimize people through predatory lending, subprime mortgages, fraud, and high interest rates. Without this shield, people can fall into a whirlpool of debt, leading to bad credit, bankruptcy, or even foreclosure. The simple, powerful truth is this: financially literate people can avoid this serious money woes simply by being aware of when and where to properly spend money. As Stain 2014 highlights, a financially illiterate population contributes to significant macroeconomic problems, acting as a factor in bad business cycles, low savings rates, and the decreased value of money due to inflation. Conversely, the good news is that financial education is a powerful tool for change, as research shows that an individual's financial literacy level has far-reaching implication on their behavior. Students who are exposed to financial education often come to believe that the way they may manage money will directly impact their future. Being financially literate made so many people reach the peak of financial success. Logan Alec, owner of Money Done Right, listed the benefits of being financially literate. Number one, the first benefit of being financially literate is the ability to recognize had a bad financial deal. I've had unscrupulous financial advisors try to talk me into financial decisions that would benefit them and not me. Due to my financial literacy, I knew to walk away from those deals. The second benefit of financial literacy is the power is the lower cost I pay for my bills since I make less financial mistakes. Due to financial literacy, I know the negative impact missing a credit card payment will have on my monthly bills. I'll make sure never to miss that payment and will always try to avoid paying interest. The third benefit of financial literacy is the peace of mind that comes from knowing I'm planning for retirement. Retirement is not something that worries me because I know how to create a plan that will put me in the best possible position to be prepared for my later years in life. Let us now proceed with the common concepts under financial literacy. Investment platform. When we say investment platform, it is a vital online service which allows you to buy, sell, and hold funds. Famous investment platforms in the Philippines includes First Metro Securities, the COL Financial, CoinsPro, and Seedbox.ph. Funds. It refers to a particular amount of money made available or allocated for a particular purpose. Finances, the monetary resources of an individual, organization, company, or government. Next, debit card is a rectangular plastic card using in paying purchase. The debit card is used by swiping the card to the merchant's card reader and entering a PIN or the personal identification number. This allows the direct transfer of money amounting to the purchase price from the owner's checking account to another bank account. Next, credit card is a rectangular plastic card which allows user to access credit facilities or allows owners to avail products on a basis of credit. Stock. A stock is a type of security that signifies ownership in a corporation and represents a claim on part of the corporation assets and earnings. Inflation is the substantial increase of price of goods and services resulting to the decrease of the purchasing power of money. Deflation, also termed as the negative inflation, is the great decrease of price of basic commodities. Purchasing power refers to the value of money on the basis of the amount of goods and services that you can use a unit of currency. Annual percentage rate or the APR. APR is the interest rate in an annual basis charged for borrowing money. Annual persistence yield, percentage yield or the APY. APY is the interest rate in an annual basis paid on savings account, certificate of deposit, or other account that earns compound interest. Budget. A budget is an estimate of your income and expenditure for a specific period of time. Example, 1 month. This is the basis for planning your finances. Capital gains. A capital gain is when the value of an asset increases more than the original purchase price. Capital gains are not realized until the asset is sold. Checking account. It refers to a form of bank account which allows the owner to have an easy access to his money. Access to money is possible through ATM withdrawal, issuance of check, or through debit cards. Credit score. A credit score is a ranking or a number assigned to an individual which reflects his or her creditworthiness. Credit scores are realized by the amount of debts, number of open accounts, and timeliness of payment, among others. The score ranges from 300 to 850. A low credit score has a highly probability of being denied when applying for a loan, for it puts the lender at risk. Next, savings account. A savings account is a deposit account which bears interest where you can store your money in a bank or other financial institutions. Savings account let the consumer have an easy access of his or her money. Interest rate, variable and fixed. An interest rate is the percentage of a loan charged to an individual for borrowing the money. In an interest-bearing savings account, an interest rate is portion of the savings paid by the bank or other financial institutions as an incentive for maintaining an account. In Charge 2017, as cited by Alana and Ignacio 2019, listed six major characteristic types in how people view money. Frugal. Frugal people seek financial security by living below their means and saving money. They rarely buy luxurious items. They save money instead. They save because they believe that money will offer protection from unprecedented events and expenses. Pleasure. Pleasure seekers use money to bring pleasure to themselves and to others. They are more likely to spend than to save. They often live beyond their means and spend more than they earn. If they are not careful and do not change, they may fall into a deep debt. Status. These are the people which uses their money in showcasing their financial status. They tend to show off their luxurious and branded items. Their main agenda is to make people around them know that they are financially capable. Next, indifference. These are the people who sees money and other luxury in life is something of a little importance. They tend to craft their own items and even grow their own food instead of buying them. Powerful. These are the people who makes use of money at their own benefit. They tend to use money to exercise power and control over others. Self-worth. These are the people who spend money just to put value to themselves. They also tend to see the worth of a person based on their financial status. Let's now proceed to letter D, financial literacy in the Philippines. State of financial education in the Philippines, an article by Go 2017, listed events which manifest the current standing of the country, financial literacy, and the events are as follows, Alana and Ignacia 2019. An estimated 20 million Filipinos save money but only have had bank accounts, World Bank Study 2014. The country is lacking of a national strategy in educating Filipinos towards financial education and literacy, a result conducted by the Asian Development Bank or ADB in 2019. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas or the BSP released the National Strategy for Financial Inclusion, stating that while institutions strive to broaden financial services, financial literacy should complement such initiatives. Only 25% of Filipinos are financially literate. This shows a large percentage not properly educated about financial concepts such as inflation and diversification. That is from Standard and Poor S&P Rating Services Survey 2018. Only 1% of the total population in the Philippines have invested to stock market even it has been existing for 10 years now. More than 80% of the working Filipinos belonging in the middle class have no formal financial plan. Letter D, developing financial literacy. Let's differentiate needs versus wants. The difference between needs and wants is a concept worth knowing. Awareness of this allows individuals from different financial status make informed decision making in terms of managing their finances. Below is a detailed comparison of needs and wants by Survey 2016. Needs are things we need in order to survive in the society. In older times, needs are limited to food, shelter, and clothing. The degree upon which the needs are met affects the functionality of an individual. For example, a student who goes to school with an empty stomach is expected to function poorly in class. This is because of the fact that one of the basic needs was not fulfilled. On the contrary, if the same student goes to school with all of his basic necessities met, he or she is expected to perform better. Today's needs might include these things such as education and healthcare, for these things have been proven to be effective factors in man's survival. Therefore, it is worth noting that as the world changes, the man's basic needs adapts to it. Based on the meaning of needs and wants mentioned above, individuals who plans their financial resources must put needs above wants, prioritizing what we need more than what you want gives us higher assurance of financial stability. Assets versus liability. A person can be highly educated, professionally successful, and financially illiterate. Robert Kiyosaki is the author of the best-selling book entitled Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Rich Poor Dad Rich Dad Poor Dad is about Robert Kiyosaki and his two dads, his real father, Poor Dad, and the father of his best friend, Rich Dad. and the ways in which both men shape in his thoughts about money and investing. One of the noteworthy statements of Kiyosaki is when he claimed that someone does not need to earn a high income to be rich for rich people make money work for them. In here, he discusses one of the most vital concepts in financial literacy, assets versus liabilities. Asset is something that brings you money, while liability, to put in its simplest definition, is something that takes away from you. According to Kiyosaki, real assets fall into the following categories: stocks, bonds, income generating real estate, notes, IOUs, royalties from intellectual property such as music, scripts, and patents, anything else that has value, produces income or appreciates, and has a ready market. While liabilities are the luxurious things which needs maintenance like cars and house. However, some liabilities can be an asset when used to generate an income, like a pet, example a dog, but for the purpose of reproduction and upstream selling. Before we shall end our discussion today, please answer this question. What practical steps can individuals take to avoid falling into financial debt or accumulating multiple utang or debts? Explain at least 5 strategies that promote financial literacy and responsible money management. So thank you very much for your time. Please answer them in the comment section in the here in the YouTube. Good day, everyone.